Week 12 press conference. We've got Coach Hauk, we've got Levi Janicaro from Missoula, we've got Braxton Hill from Anaconda, AJ Forbes from Nebraska joining us today representing the offense. Coach, we'll start with you. Good win for the Grizzlies at Portland State. Your final thoughts on that game before Montana plays Montana State.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, it was a good win. Winning's hard to do, so we're excited to beat Portland State and get to 9-1 and have a very high national ranking. So I thought we played well. I thought we played as a complete team. We did a lot of good things. I liked our balance on offense and our aggressiveness on defense. I think our guys really love to play the game. They're a bunch of no-nonsense guys. They're football guys. They're just a joy to coach. So that was fun to go out to Portland and get that win. And in terms of this week's game, our opponent they're a good team. There's no other way to describe them, but they're a really good team. They're leading the conference in scoring and rushing offense. People have had a lot of difficulty stopping them, and should be a good game and a fun week.
Questions?
Start with Levi and then for Braxton. For you guys growing up in the state, getting to watch this rivalry game growing up, what has it meant to you to be able to play in it over the last handful of years now?
You want to go first? You want me to go first? Go for it. Growing up and watching the brawl, it was always my favorite game of the year. So to be able to play in it has just been a blessing and a heck of an opportunity. It's been really cool.
Yeah, and I'll just echo what Levi said. Pretty much same thing, grew up watching the game, and, it's a great opportunity to get to play in this game, and it'll be electric out there at Saturday, and just looking forward to it.
And for same to you guys again, it's being your senior year, last time playing in the rivalry game, what are the emotions like for you guys heading into it?
I would say just, we got to treat it like the other games, and you can't get too high, can't get too low. Got to stay level-headed, and we're gonna have to execute our game plan, and understand that you just can't let the emotion take away from you not doing your job.
Not much more I can add to that. Yeah, just be even keel.
AJ, growing up out of state, what was kind of the process for you like when you got here, learning about this rivalry, and what's maybe the most eye-opening thing you've learned about it since you've been here?
Ever since I moved up here and transferred to the University of Montana, I tried to dive into the culture here, and obviously this game is a big deal to a lot of people around the state, and I'm proud of the opportunity that I get to be a part of it, and I'm excited to play in it.
And Bobby, you obviously grew up in the state. You've coached in this game a lot against, in the rivalry matchup, going back to even the 80s when you were an assistant here. All these years later, still coaching in it. What is it that still gets you excited for this rivalry matchup?
Well, I'm excited every Saturday. I mean, it's competition's what drives everybody involved. Everybody in our organization loves to compete, and when you're playing your neighbor, there's probably a little more excitement around that just because you're so familiar with each other.
For any of the players, what do you tell first-year Griz or guys not from the state of Montana to get them, mentally and physically prepared to let them know what this game's really about?
First-year guys, practice hard. They ain't playing in the game. Go ahead.
I mean, I would just say they hear about it a lot in the off season, and they know about it, but we gotta be mature, and we gotta treat it like the other weeks, and just understand that they got to do their 1/11th on Saturday, and they can't get too high, get too low, like I just talked about a minute ago. They find out real quick.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Nothing else I can add to that.
Coach, just take a look at their team. Just their offense obviously ranks pretty high in the conference, and defense does too. Just what kind of stands out among them when you kind of look at them in the film and what they've accomplished this year?
Yeah, I think what I mentioned about their scoring and rushing numbers are phenomenal. Just done a great job, and then they do a good job playing with the two quarterbacks. I think it probably starts with that. You know, that's really a question for them, really, probably Kyle, but they do a good job. You know, Chambers number 10 and Malott number 4. They blend those guys in and do a good job with them. And I don't know what the status is. I mean, Chambers hasn't played much the last month. He played some last week, and I'm assuming he's been banged up, so I don't know how much. But that's what sticks out.
You've touched on this in the past, but to have a rival like this that's traditional, there's so much history, goes so far back. Just how cool is that to be a part of something like this, where not every college in America gets to have a rival like this?
That's well said by you. You know, I think the college football rivalry is really a cool thing in all of sports, and we're lucky to have a long-standing traditional in-state rivalry. I mean, it's a cool deal.
Allison Lawrence was kind of talking about this rivalries just before you guys got here, but that sometimes rivalries can bring the best out of you when you have something like that. Have you guys noticed that in the past at all? Just that having something like this just, you know, adds a little extra to it?
Well, I see it bring the worst out of a lot of people that are not on the field.
Levi, last time you guys played this game in Missoula 2 years ago, you guys got the win. Just what do you remember about that game, and you know, just what the scene was like here in Missoula?
I just remember it was a ton of fun, but I don't know, just really trying to focus on this upcoming game. But 2021 was a blast.
Coach, I wanted to ask you just specifically about what Montana State does in their run game. I mean, anything in particular that is important, and especially when they get their ball carriers out on the edge?
Well, they find different ways to run the quarterback. I mean, that's kind of the basis of their offense. And then it opens up everything else, so it kind of revolves around that.
Braxton, similar question. I mean, just the fact they run so much RPO stuff, what's it like preparing for that? How do you go about trying to slow that down?
Yeah, you know, you got to have great eyes. Everyone's got to do their job. You know, one guy gets sucked in or sucked out, it can be a big play. So we're just gonna have to be disciplined and execute our game plan for sure.
AJ, on the other side, you guys have such talented receivers. That seems like one of the key matchups in the game is your receivers against their secondary. Just talk about your receivers and their ability to make plays, especially this last month and a half or so.
Yeah, I mean, we have a great group of ball carriers in general. Honestly, yeah, we have a ton of playmakers out on the perimeter. They've done a great job of doing what they need to do to get the ball down the field and get in the end zone. Yeah, we have a great group of running backs that we have working behind the O-line and working with the quarterback, and so, I mean, I'm really happy with what our skill player outlook is right now.
And Coach, obviously special teams are huge in every game, but it seems like the field position battle in this game can often turn the table. So how important are special teams and the priority of that this week?
Well, I think it's a contributing factor. You know, it's hard to predict that in any game. Certainly, you know, you go into it thinking, you know, you got to hold up, and then if you get a chance to make a play, and you know, that's what the other side's going to be trying to do too. So we'll see how it plays out.
Clifton McDowell's been so good as your starting quarterback. So I mean, what do you think? How do you hope he prepares for this, or what sort of advice would you give him going into his first rivalry game?
Oh, just be assignment conscious. Know what you need to do. Know your checks, and get ready to go.
Coach, and maybe Braxton can answer this too, but still playing kind of the odd front, how important the D tackles are to make the linebacker's job a little easier. I just wanted you to maybe talk about Alex Governor and the way he's played this year. It just seems like it's hard to quantify a D tackle unless he's picking off 4 passes, which he hasn't done in a while.
Yeah.
But could you just talk about the job he's done and how important it's been to this rush defense staying steady the whole year?
Yeah, I think rush defense, she played inside out, and Alex has played really well. He's quick off the ball. He plays really hard. He's a good technician. He just kind of turned into a really relentless guy, and I'm excited and proud of the way he's playing. So, you know, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I'll echo that. I love playing behind Gub. He's a beast. He brings it every day. Brings it in the off season. You know, became really close over the past few years, and yeah, like Coach said, he's a terrific player, and really proud of him.
Coach, what stands out from them, either personnel-wise or something that they do defensively?
I don't know. I mean, they play good defense. I mean, they play hard. I think the thing that stands out is they really are in sync, front to back. Do a lot of things that you know, whether it's movement stuff or coverage stuff that complements what's going on up front. So they play front to back, and they're coordinated.
And I know you guys are going to prepare like it's any other week, but to have this game 122 times, it's the first time it's a top 5 matchup. Like what does that do for the game from your perspective?
Nothing.
Braxton, Levi, I know you guys throughout the week it's going to be kind of the same, structure and things like that. But what is this week like as far as, I don't know, maybe like when you're walking to class, I'm sure maybe you get a few more comments or texts from people. Like, how would you just describe just this week as far as leading up to the game?
Yeah, I mean, people on campus and family and friends are super pumped about it. They love to text you and hype it up.
They all want to make sure you know who you're playing this week.
Yeah. They
I get a lot
kind of
of
text
those.
us.
I get a ton of those too.
Yeah, they like hit
Like
you up
about
like you
1,000
don't
of them.
know that it's the rivalry
Oh,
game.
really?
It's
Jeez, I
kind of
should've
funny.
checked the schedule. For God's sake.
But I mean, they just love it, and people being so invested is what makes this rivalry great. So I mean, it's just. But from our standpoint, I think we've been here for long enough that we're mature enough to kind of block that out and just focus on doing what we have to do.
Yeah, and I'll echo what Levi said. I mean, Griz Nation's awesome, and they love their Saturdays, and it's part of the reason why playing here is so awesome. And but like Levi said, we've got to be mature about it, and we got to focus in on our job, and we clearly know who we're playing, and yeah.
AJ, for you, after kind of learning about this rivalry when you got here, like how would you describe like what this rivalry means to you?
I mean, honestly, I've gotten to the point in my career where if you're not treating every game like a game and not putting too much or too little on one game or another, you're not going to be as successful as you would if you were. So, yeah, it's obviously special that I get to be a part of this as an out-of-state guy who didn't grow up watching it but has grown to respect this game, and just excited to play it one more time.
And Braxton, Levi, on top of it, obviously, the winner of this game will win the Big Sky Championship. Just knowing that you guys have put yourself in that position where you're one win away from getting a championship that I know you guys would love to do. Like, what's it like just putting yourselves in the position to achieve that?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I'm proud of how far this team's come, but I mean, at the end of the day, we really just got to hone in on this week, and we've got to be able to execute our game plan and every individual's assignment.
Yeah, I mean, we put in a lot of work when we're not in season, and football really doesn't care about all the work that you put in, so it's nice that we've been winning games. But like Braxton said, just got to take it from week to week. Each team, you just got to focus on what they do, how that applies to what you're doing, and focus on doing your 1/11th as perfect as you can.
Levi, you said growing up this was your favorite game to watch. Do you have a favorite game in mind that was your favorite, or a favorite moment from any of the games that stand out?
I remember I was I was in middle school, I think, or 5th grade, and I grew up. One of my best friends was a Cat fan, and his dad, he took me down to the game in Bozeman, and the Griz they beat him there, and that was probably one of my favorite games that I remember from the rivalry. Sad ride back for my buddy and his dad.
AJ, this past week we saw Declan McCabe get in and kind of fill in for you guys. It seems like the depth for the O-line has been just pretty strong for you guys this season. So can you speak to just Declan filling in when Liam went down and just kind of having so many guys to rotate in for you guys this season?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys could see what Declan's been doing this offseason, trying to get in a position to participate in this season, he's done so much to try to make himself a better football player. He's such a hard worker, and I was super proud of the fact that he was able to come in and he did his job to the best of his ability. And I've been working with him all off season, trying to do what I can to set him up for success and give him a path to work on. And he's taken full advantage of every opportunity he's gotten, and so I'm super proud of him for that.
And Bobby, a big part of the offense's success has been the offensive line, and you've had these guys fill in and rotate and just that depth. So can you just speak to just their performance, the way they've done these last few games for you guys, and just seeing next man up kind of work out well for you guys?
Certainly. I mean, that's the attitude you have to have in football, I believe. We've been talking since August probably about having adequate depth on our offensive line, and it's a good thing that we have had that, because on both fronts we've had a lot of attrition. A lot of guys miss a lot of games, and it's comforting to see the offensive linemen be able to come in and play at a high level.
And Coach, entering the season with coaches in new spots, what have you liked most about how they've progressed and settled into their roles as the season's come along, and how much learning they've done?
The coaches? Well, I like best that we're 9-1 and ranked 2 or 3. But our staff works well together. I think there's great cohesion. There's great energy. Certainly, these guys all know what they're doing.
Entering this game last year to entering it this year, where do you think you've come along furthest as a football team that will make it a competitive game?
Well, last year's unproductive to talk about because we need to be focused on this Saturday. So we'll focus on this Saturday and we'll go compete hard. Maybe we will, maybe we won't.
Anybody else? Thanks, guys.
I almost made it.